All right, now you might wonder about ball position. Where should it go when I chip? All right, it all depends on trajectory that you want to have happen. All right, if you put it in the back, of course, it's going to go lower. If you put it in the middle, it's going to go a little bit higher, and then green, or the forward one, it's going to go, I guess you could say, the highest. Be careful of putting it too forward in your stance. Welcome back to Danford Golf Instruction. Today we're going to talk about why people really suck at chipping. Did I say suck? I meant stink, or aren't very good. All right, we see lots of people around the greens really struggle, and today we're going to talk about why that is and how we can make it so much simpler to make your chipping stroke more consistent, help you shoot lower scores, because most of our strokes are taken within 100 yards of the green. So if you want to lower your score, shoot better numbers, watch this video today and we will teach you how to chip and make it a lot easier than maybe what you thought it should be. So we're going to cover how to chip today. The first shot that I'm going to show you is what we tend to see and what is done incorrectly. Okay, and this has been taught for the longest time, and this is a personal preference on how I coach and how I teach. Some of you might disagree with it. All right, but the first thing I see that I don't like to see golfers do is when they set up to it, they're going to set their face up at the hole, which is great, that's fine, not a big deal. And then they're going to aim their body left and their shoulders are going to be open. All right, so what causes the issue here is when they take it back, they're going to take it back, I guess you could say on plane, whatever, it's on line with the hole, and then they're going to push it at the target. All right, and this tends to see what I see happen a lot with that move. Oh, and you see the blade. All right, the other option, if you do that incorrectly, maybe the last hole you bladed it, you do the same setup. Oh, you come to it too shallow, all right, because it's inside out, and then you duff it. And then every once in a while you get lucky, and you might be able to pull it off. We'll see. All right, so 1 out of 3 is not good. All right, maybe in baseball and golf, that's terrible. Those numbers are going to be super high, especially if you bladed the first one maybe over the green or off the green. Then you got to try to do it all over again. All right, so let's make it a little bit more simple. So what are some of the adjustments that we need to make this easier? So right off the bat, all right, the biggest issue that I have with how it was taught for a long time, again, this is what I think, is the stance should be open. All right, and I understand the idea behind the open stance is to help people kind of clear their body. All right, the only time I'm going to hit something with an open stance is if I'm trying to hit it higher, if I'm in a bunker, or if I just got a really funky lie. All right, usually an open stance helps you slide the club underneath it. That's why we kind of do it in the bunker. That's why you kind of do it more for a flop shot. All right, if you want to see a flop shot segment on how to do that, leave a comment down below, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell button. All right, but today is just making chipping easier. So step number 1, we're going to make the stance parallel with our target, just like we pretty much do in every other shot. All right, so why might change it, why try to make it harder? All right, so square setup. All right, and we'll see how that affects it. That's okay, right? You'd be okay with that. You got about 3 feet. All right, now the thing that a lot of us will do when our setup is square, we're going to still continue with the old pattern, most likely, of taking it inside and pushing and still hitting the duffs. All right, with chipping, it's okay to be steep. So I want that club to really match your path on the way back, on the way down. All right, so as it comes back, make sure it kind of stays out in front of you. Don't let it get back behind you. All right, so now we're at 2 out of 3, so we're getting closer. We just dropped a few shots in our round. Maybe we broke 100 for the first time, 80, or even, well, probably not 70. Not if you're worrying about chipping right now. All right, so we fixed our stance. Now everything is parallel with our target. The next thing that you can have from your original setup is I want those shoulders to be open. All right, I don't want the feet to be open, but it's okay if the shoulders are aimed left or aimed open. Okay, that is a good thing. Don't lose that. All right, you're going to notice also when you open your shoulders, it leans the shaft forward, which is good, and it moves your weight to your lead foot. You have to have your weight on your lead foot and that shaft forward, in my opinion, to be a good chipper of the golf ball. So let's see how that looks. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier. All right, now I'll show you a different view of what your hand should be doing to help you become a better chipper also. All right, so far we've covered the feet being square, the shoulders being a little open, the weight being forward, the hands being forward. All right, that's your setup. You don't have to think any more from there. So now the next thing when I coach on how to chip is I want to feel like it's all left side dominant. All right, I don't want that right hand doing anything, because I see way too many people try to flip it and lift it up in the air rather than using the loft of the golf club. So when your setup is all set and you're good to go, I want you to feel like the shaft and your arm stay in one piece. Okay, you can see how I held it. I didn't let it flip up here, right? I didn't stop when I got close to the golf ball. That's why the shoulders being open and your left side being so important, because it should pull your hands, should be pulled through the shot by using your shoulders. Let me say that again. Your hands and your left arm should be rotated through the shot because your shoulders open towards the target. Okay, not your feet opening. All right, it helps a lot of people who might not be very flexible. But if you start off this way, you're going to be successful this way. All right, you got to get your right hand out of it. If you have to practice just chipping with your left side, you can do that. Right, you then put your hand on the back of it like that, so you have a little feeling of what it's like. Right, and just build up, and then maybe a few fingers on, same feeling, and then when you have it all set up, you got it. And all of those are within 3 feet. So you most likely you just made 3 pars where you would have made maybe 1. All right, now you might wonder about ball position. Where should it go when I chip? All right. It all depends on the trajectory that you want to have happen, all right? If you put it in the back, of course, it's going to go lower. If you put it in the middle, it's going to go a little bit higher. And then green, or the forward one, it's going to go, I guess you could say, the highest. Be careful of putting it too forward in your stance, because you're going to bring the fact that you might blade it, all right, into the view, even if you do everything correctly. So I would stick with middle or back, all right, because it's easier to make sure your hands are forward pressed also. All right, final note is I want your feet to be together. It helps your hips move freer. It helps you keep your weight forward. Wide stance, you tend to try to shift weight. We don't want you to shift weight. Could lock up your hips a little bit, because even when you finish, the hips are going to clear open a little bit, okay? To help you with that, keeping that left arm straight. I'm just going to show you the different loft shots real fast, just so you can see how high they might go depending on where the stance is. All right, so we'll start with the ball up front first. The weight has to stay forward. The ball in the middle now. Then ball in the back.
What are you doing?
So thanks for watching. Hope this helps you chip a little bit better the next time you go out.